All right, so the Knicks went down 0-2, and a big talking point from that game was Cat and his defense and being a -20, only playing 28 minutes in that game. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you guys like Cat was playing this amazing defense, but I think we're letting the coaching staff off the hook a little bit here, and it's easy to blame Cat. Unless you're telling me Cat is just deliberately not following the game plan, I'm not really sure how we can blame Cat for some of these plays. Indiana got off to a 19-9 lead in game 2, and almost every bucket came off a Tyrese Halliburton assist. And also, almost all of those were with Cat switched onto him. So yeah, the objective for Indiana is clearly get Cat switched on to Tyrese Halliburton. But if you're the Knicks, shouldn't your goal at that point be make Tyrese Halliburton beat you as a scorer, make Tyrese Halliburton beat you one-on-one? If you're the Knicks, this is actually what you want. You want Tyrese Halliburton to go into scoring mode. But if Cat is getting switched on to Tyrese Halliburton and you're still giving up threes from other players, how is that necessarily on Cat? If you look at a lot of these plays, it's not like, oh, Tyrese is beating him then making a play. No, these are just easy passes. And as I'm rewatching a lot of these plays, why is New York treating Tyrese Halliburton like a scorer? OG Anunoby, why are you helping off Siakam on a Halliburton drive against Mikal Bridges? Is that OG being, oh, you can't win with OG's defense, or is that what they're being told to do? When everybody in the arena knows Tyrese Halliburton would rather make that pass than force up a tough floater. Now, for sure, Cat's gonna get beat sometimes. That's kind of baked into it. You gotta live with those. You want Tyrese being that aggressive. At least I think, right? That's where I'm kind of confused. Is it Cat or is it the coaching staff in their game plan? Because you look at game 4 against Boston, and a lot of how they came back in that game was Cat switched on to Tatum. We're gonna let you go one-on-one, Tatum. We're not gonna bring the help. We're gonna let you go one-on-one and take contested step back threes over Cat. You're gonna miss them and we're gonna run out the other way. And that's how the Knicks really made a big comeback in game 4. I just think it's so easy to blame Cat when a lot of these plays are not his fault. There was this play, I think it was late 3rd or early 4th, where TJ McConnell was on a pick and roll. Cat hedges, right? Again, don't ask me why you're hedging on TJ McConnell that far out, but I'm assuming that is the game plan, right? And Cat executes it perfectly. He gets back to his guy, or maybe perfectly is a little bit strong, but he gets back to his guy. The people that make the mistakes here, Cam Payne's supposed to get out to Siakam, and Mitchell Robinson stay in the paint. Instead, he fouls Miles Turner for an easy and one. And that play people are pointing to and saying, look at Cat's defense. Again, is it the game plan? Or is it Cat? Because the next possession, it wasn't even a hedge. Mitchell Robinson just straight up doubles TJ McConnell. Could Cat have been there a little bit sooner? Maybe, but Siakam was going crazy. He's attached to Siakam. But to me, it's coaching. And look at this, little still here. Why is Cam Payne, Deuce McBride, Cat, Mitchell Robinson all on the court together? So again, I don't want to sit up here and act like Cat is playing at some all defensive level, but what is the goal here? And unless Cat is just ignoring the coaches and just doing what he wants to do out there, I don't think Cat is saying, I'm going to hedge on TJ McConnell because I want to. I don't think Cat is saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch on Halliburton and I'm going to press him. I think that's what he's being told to do. And I understand it sounds ridiculous to say this about someone that was a -20, but in my opinion, he should have been playing in the 4th quarter. I'm sure there were some atrocious defensive possessions from Cat. I'm not denying that. I just think a lot of them aren't his fault, and I think his offense really could have helped them down the stretch of this game. I just wanted to make this little quick video before game 4, but to me, watching the Knicks, and maybe this is confirmation bias because I felt like this all year with New York, I feel like Josh Hart is too important to their team when he doesn't really excel at anything, right? And that's fine. That's fine for a role player that does a little bit of everything. That's not fine for the guy that's going to be the second most involved in your offense. I think ideally on a championship team, Josh Hart is giving you 25 minutes. Maybe that sounds crazy. Maybe that sounds like hate, but as someone that was a fan of the Lakers when Josh Hart was drafted, it's always how I felt. I never thought Josh Hart would be this good. So yeah, there's some confirmation bias in it, but I don't think the idea of Josh Hart, we're going to rely on you as our second creator. Josh Hart, we're going to rely on you as our second big man. It's extremely helpful that he could plug into all these roles, but then you look at Indiana and they need another shot creator. Okay, we're going to go to Nimhart. We're going to go to TJ McConnell, guys that can actually run the offense. we need another big man to compete on the boards. We're gonna go to someone who's not 6'4", right? I'm not trying to diminish who Josh Hart is. I just think the idea of him being so involved kind of caps out your ceiling as a team. Like I said, Josh Hart is way better than I ever believed he would be. And I'm not saying he's why they're down 0-2. And also, when you look at this Knicks roster, it's not like they have other options. But I think having a Josh Hart, limits how much someone like Mikal could do on ball. I think it limits how much someone like Deuce McBride could do on ball. Again, I don't know if those guys are those players, but you get what I'm saying. Like, he's so involved that it kind of caps out the offensive upside. And then on defense, his plus has always been that he could guard up, but quick guards, that's not really what he does. And then you run into someone like Siakam, he can't really do anything with that either. So Josh Hart has always been this tweener that has maxed out what he could possibly be in the NBA. But him being your second leader in assist is something I've never really believed in. But then again, you look at this team and Mikal's not a creator off the dribble. OG's not a creator off the dribble. Deuce McBride, so he has to fill that role. I'm just saying, like, to me, that's what they're missing, that other playmaker. And when Josh Hart isn't filling that role, it at least allows the possibility of Mikal going to do something off the dribble and making something happen, or Deuce making something happen, which has been pretty bad at times. So yeah, I just think they need another playmaker or just another elite role player. And you don't even have to say like, or Josh Hart for this scenario, but Josh Hart is a player that does a little bit of everything, right? But would they be better off right now with a player that is just a complete knockdown shooter? They don't really have that besides Cat. Would they be better with another elite perimeter defender that can guard point guards? They don't really have that. For as much talent is on this team, they are lacking in some obvious areas. Like Mikal and OG are great defenders. They're not great point guard defenders. With all that being said though, I expect Josh Hart to have a great game in game 3. They are leaving him open. I have to assume OG is going to have a good scoring game one of these games. By no means do I believe this series is over. I picked New York to win this series, so maybe that's why I don't believe it's over, but there's something there. And Brunson is also just Jalen Brunson. I don't expect him to go out without a real fight, so I expect this to come back 3-1. I expect it to come back 3-1, maybe win game 5 at home, and we have ourselves a great series. At this point, that's all I can really ask for. I know a lot of people are going to take what I'm saying the wrong way about Josh Hart. Josh Hart's a very good player. He's a very good player, but there are obvious limitations that it's amazing he's been able to overcome. Again, I expect him to have a great game in game 3. I don't really know what kind of game to expect from Cat. He was great in game 1. Game 2, there were some bad moments, but I think overall, it was not what people made it out to be, in my opinion, as I talked about early. I don't know what to expect from game 3. I think they're going to, run the same thing out there, and they're going to put Cat on Halliburton or give up that switch. And I think Halliburton might do more to actually score in this game. In game 2, he was more content to dish it off. Pascal was going crazy. I think Halliburton's going to go for the kill in game 3. Just will the shots go in, I guess will determine it. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Cat has been that terrible on defense? Do you believe it's coaching? What do you think about the series so far? Let me know all that down in the comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe. It will mean the world to me on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.